Brene Brown, I reference her a lot. I love her books. One of her latest books is called Atlas of the Heart. And I
Yep.
love this book, guys. It's right up my alley. I didn't even realize what I was reading. It was Brene Brown, and so I grabbed it. That's all I knew about the book. I didn't even read what it was about. And then I opened it up to find out it is a broken down book of emotions, like all of them. And so when we were getting ready for this episode, I was like, I wonder if she talks about contentment. You know, Miss Fang talks about contentment. So yeah, that's what she was saying in here, that contentment is about satisfaction, but people often confuse it with happiness, and that's not what it is. And it's not even being happy with where you are. Contentment and happiness, they, even though people group those together, they're not the same.
Yeah, I think contentment is being satisfied with your current state.
Yeah.
Even if you're not the happiest, even if you're in a sad state, you can be content and it lean happy or lean sad, but contentment is almost equivalent to that whole state of neutrality that you try to tell people to get to. A contentment is just a nice wrapped up way of saying, let's be neutral. Let's don't be too happy. Let's don't be too sad. Let's be right here in this level of, look, things may not be the way I want them to be, or things may be really great, but I'm going to be content regardless. I'm not going to lean one way. I'm not going to lean the other way. I'm going to stay right here. And sometimes people will hear that and say, oh, you're just living a mediocre life if you just stay in the middle. And I'm like, no, you're leading a more balanced, controlled. That's what I think of with contentment. You're not letting your emotions get the best of you, and you're allowing the contentment to be the driving factor rather than moment of happiness, moment of sadness, and you're never happy to the point that you're content. And that's the goal of what we're trying to get people to do, bringing those emotions under control.
Yeah, anytime I've talked about this subject, I immediately go back to me and Wild Man. I can't help it because we're so polar opposite when it comes to contentment. And so I tell this story about when we first got together. My husband is content with everything and like just satisfied, just doesn't need a better house or doesn't need a better job or doesn't want this, just kind of like la la la, happy with everything. Meanwhile, I'm on the complete other side. Like, I'm happy with nothing. I am satisfied with nothing. Everything needs to be improved. Everything needs to be better. I'm terrible. You're terrible. This house is terrible. Everything's terrible. We got to fix it all. Okay. And so I never experienced a human being that was just satisfied just to be how they were and be where they were and like they were. Like, it just. And so we just clashed on the complete opposite sides of contentment. And, that's when you and I were talking about the complexity that is contentment. It can be both things where, someone like me who I can be happy with where I am, but I also have this constant inner, but better, and then my husband is like happy with where he is and just happy with where he is, which can be complicated in the fact that you never grow. And so that's where, talking about contentment, it does get, you're right in what you were saying, that in how you view it. But I think contentment is viewed, we've talked about how some people equivalent it to happiness. That's not what it is. And you equivalent it to not going up here and down here and just kind of stay in the middle. And then for me, yes, but also being careful to not let yourself be so content that you never grow.
That is such a great point, by the way, that I had not thought of, which is why I love this show. We always have like light bulb moments with one another, and you just clicked one to me. If you're content where you are, it's kind of like those people that say, kind of like the fat acceptance movement. And I'm going to be a little controversial, but there's people that think, okay, just accept people where they are. And if they have extra weight on their body, and we should let them accept themselves and da-da-da. But there's kind of a danger there, because if you totally accept that and are content, how do you ever work on it? So I think contentment requires you not just to, yes, be at peace with where you are in the moment, but what are you doing to maybe actively try to help at the same time? So there's kind of this unspoken, I guess, necessity for action to follow that peace within. That's the contentment isn't just saying I'm going to rest on my laurels like Wild Man. Hey, I like it where we are. This is great. I'm not going to move. And it's like, okay, where we are is great, but I know we can do better. But in the meantime, I'm going to love what we have while we pursue better.
Yeah, and going back to the body talk, that's an easy one to bring up. I myself have struggled with this ever since I got out of the hospital and I had put on some weight during recovery of that. I've really struggled to get any of it off. Yet I work out 5 times a week, I get sleep, I drink my water, I eat healthy, yet the weight is still on my body. And I think that's a good place to be, where I can be content with what my body looks like right now. I can be okay because I am doing all the things.
You're in the game.
Yeah.
And look, I go on camera every day doing an ice bath in 32-degree temperature water for 5 minutes. And I don't have the perfect body. I have some people snark at me. Oh my gosh, how are you doing this? Oh, I don't believe you're doing this. I'm like, I'm doing this because I have the weight on the body, because I'm active at doing things. But in the meantime, I'm not going to sit there and moan and complain that I look the way I look, because I'm content with where I am, because I know I'm doing other things while I'm content. I'm not going to beat myself up. This is the psychology of it, guys. Why would you beat yourself up on the way to improvement? Will you feel good in the midst of that? No. Why would you? The only way you can feel good on the way to getting better and the way to growing is to be content as you're growing. Don't wait till you grow and you get to where you want to go before you are content and feel good. You've got to be content now so that you will reach that goal. Otherwise, I think goals that you set for yourself are impossible unless you allow contentment in now.
Yeah. See, listen, you can't change from a place of hate. You can't hate yourself into changing. Not emotionally, not physically, not spiritually, not any way. You cannot hate yourself into change long term. You can temporarily hate yourself and go, I'm absolutely going to change everything, but it's going to be a temporary thing, because you can't change permanently from hate. It doesn't work that way. And you have to be content with where you are. And here's the truth bomb. And listen, we've talked about this very idea before, with me, when I did lose the weight and I got to the size I want to, and I got there and I'm like, I am not happy, because I was never content along the journey. I was never satisfied with the journey. I was so hooked and fixated on the end point that I never let myself be content at any point. And so when I got to the point, I still wasn't content. I still wasn't happy.
And that is such a great point too. You did what I was just describing. You made the contentment the goal. But then once you got to the goal, moment of contentment, okay, woo. And then it was like, why am I sad again? Why am I not feeling like crap again? Because the contentment wasn't a part of the day-to-day. The contentment became a destination, and contentment is the day-to-day, not a destination that you're going for. The day-to-day attitude that gets you to your destination, but it's not the destination itself.
Right. The contentment is not in the accomplishment. The contentment is in the acknowledgement, keep going. You're going on this journey, and it's as long, and listen, we talk about one step deeper here every single day, and we even in the beginning of the book, we start talking and kind of working you up. Guys, this is a long-term thing. This is going to be a long-term journey that you're on. If you can't find contentment in starting at the very bottom, just being satisfied with, what, this is where I'm starting and I'm satisfied here, but I'm also, I know that there's more. I know that there's better, but I'm always satisfied at this point. And so when you do take a step further, you are that 1% better. You're also content there. And then one more step, you're also content. So along the journey, you've been content the whole way. And that's when it becomes beautiful. Like I was saying earlier on, that I've really struggled with just ever being content, ever being satisfied. And I can truly say, for the first time in my life, after being, check mark done with book, it's more, Jimmy's got more to do than I do at this point. But I'm halfway through my check mark. I'm so close to just check. That as soon as I finish up that check mark, and I'm like, yay. Because I was content the entire process.
You've been. And the contentment in this case with you writing the book, it's been fun, by the way, as your co-author, and I'm on my 10th book. Yeah. Your enthusiasm has infused a lot into me. Not that I don't get excited about books, and especially this one is, I think, the most important book I've ever been a part of. But yeah, it's been fun watching this. And like, yeah, you've been the living epitome of contentment, leaning towards ecstaticness with that contentment. And I'm like, okay, temper it down a little bit. Because it's exciting. Yes. It's something new. Yes. It's fulfillment of a dream. Yes. But contentment kind of keeps you stable, so you're not too high, not too low, which we've talked about in previous episodes. But yeah, it's been fun watching you.
Yeah. Yes. It's so exciting for me too to like watch myself personally develop, like, and go, oh, I am content. What? I am capable of doing that?
Wait, the personal development girl is personally developing? Who knows?
It really is cool when you sit back and like contentment allows you to do that, by the way. Contentment allows you to give yourself that pause to go, hey, look at where I came from. And I was content there, but I'm content here as well.
It opens up for reflection.
Yeah, it really does.
Something that sets you apart once you start on a personal growth, personal development journey. You're able to have those pause moments. You're able to kind of take the 30,000 foot view and look at things and kind of go, all right, I see where all hell broke loose right here, but now I see that led to this and led to this, and helps connect the dots a lot better. And you can't get there if you're frazzled, if you're always kind of in this crazy state in your mind, which is why contentment brings it back to what the truth is, back to what the reality is.
Yeah. I'm just sitting here, I'm still thinking about the word. There's certain words that people say that just make you cringe. And I think contentment is one of those, because there's just this like, it's so like this negative connotation that comes with contentment, at least in my head. Like when I think about being content.
Tell me more.
Yeah. So like, this is when we came up with the title of this, we were talking about contentment. Like, this is why it's so complex, because yes, we've been talking about the positives of contentment and the things that can lead to, but like the negative side of content, the dark side, the unhealthy contentment, like I was saying with Wild Man, like it leads to no action and to no change. And like, I think about, I don't know, like it's denial.
That contentment is complacency. I would not call it contentment. When you're so satisfied with where you are, and those people, speaking of the Big Bang Theory, Sheldon Cooper would be Mr. Complacency. He likes things exactly as they are, and when they change, it goes crazy, right? And so, sorry, both Brittany and I are big fans of Big Bang. It's an easy analogy to use, but complacency is what Wild Man experiences. And look, I mean, there are people that's what gives them, they think, contentment in their life is just being complacent with where they are. But then those people always kind of go, why doesn't things happen for me? I see this person gets this and this person gets this and they get this opportunity and that opportunity. Why don't those things ever happen for me? Because you become complacent, and contentment is not complacency.
Yeah. I can see that. And complacency, like that gives you the front for like escapism and denial, where like you don't see.
And detachment. You can detach from reality and the world because you're in your own little bubble. Yeah. And complacency allows you to stay in this bubble. And what contentment does is pops that bubble and it opens you up to the world to then go and accomplish things and become what you want to become and live out dreams.
Yeah. I think about so many people. Listen, I moved from a small town, but Aiken is not that much bigger. Okay. Aiken's not some huge town.
It's a metropolitan area compared to Wagner.
It is. This is town compared to Wagner. But I think about some of the people that live here. And I think about, them confusing contentment and complacency. Like that was me like live trying to like, you know what? Yeah, that was a good one. That contentment in the way that I've been viewing it is more complacency. Like I think about them and they're so complacent in, well, this is just how my life is. Well, this is just what I was born into. Well, this is just what it's like. This is just what my body looks like. Or, and when they do that, they deny that there's any improvement that needs to be made, and like, that's the part that bothers me, the denial of, well, this is just how I am. Y'all know I hate that statement. I have shared